The twin moons of Varnes hung low above the broken ridge as dusk stained the sky in muted violet. The air carried the metallic scent of shattered rock and the lingering smoke of the crash. A single escape pod lay half buried in the ravine floor, its hull twisted and its outer panels scorched. From within came a weak sound that barely rose above the sigh of the cooling metal. A girl dragged herself out from the torn hatch and fell to her knees. Her slender limbs trembled under the weight of exhaustion. Blue markings along her forearms flickered in and out with faint luminescence as she tried to lift herself. She took a shallow breath and tried again, but her strength waned. Her world blurred at the edges. She whispered for help, though she already knew no one from her fleet would come. The attack on her convoy had been swift. The raiders scattered her people. She had fired her pod in panic, with no way to control its descent. Her landing had been rough. She was certain the rest of her company had fled the system entirely. Her voice faded into the vast quiet of the barren valley. Footsteps crunched on loose stone. She tensed. She tried to rise to defend herself, but her body refused. Her vision sharpened as a silhouette approached from behind a bent pillar of rock. A tall figure moved with caution, sweeping a light in slow arcs. It was a human. He stopped when he spotted her, and his eyes widened in shock. He lowered his tool pack and crouched a safe distance away. She had learned of humans only through distant briefings. They were stubborn, curious, unpredictable. Their tiny fleets had a reputation for wandering into regions claimed by older species. Many called them reckless. Others called them brave. She had never met one in person. He spoke softly, hands visible, posture careful. She watched him, body rigid. She expected him to retreat. Her people had warned that many outsiders avoided their kind. The blue marks on her skin often made travelers uneasy. Her kind stored bioelectric energy. Their bodies crackled faintly when distressed. Some species feared even a harmless spark. But the human did not flinch. He slowly closed the distance, watching her reactions. She tried to push herself away, but her leg buckled under her. He caught her before she fell again. His touch was gentle. He held her steady without pressure. Her arms trembled, and the markings along her skin flashed weakly. He noticed at once. He did not recoil. He helped her sit against a stable piece of wreckage and took a small scanner from his belt. She resisted weakly. He paused and waited until she nodded. His expression held no judgment, only concern. He read her injuries quickly. A fractured ankle, minor internal bruising, dehydration, a dangerously unstable pulse from her bioelectric reserves. He reached into his pack and removed a thin stabilizer patch. He warned her it might sting. She braced for the worst. When he placed the patch on her arm, she felt only a cool sensation that spread upward and eased her breathing. Her body relaxed for the first time since the crash. She blinked at him in disbelief. He gave a modest smile, as though helping an alien girl on a remote moon was normal. She watched his every movement. Humans were different from her people. Their eyes held so many emotions at once. She could not decipher them, yet she sensed no threat. The winds grew colder as night approached. The human glanced at the darkening sky and understood the danger. The temperature in the valley dropped quickly after sunset. She would not survive the night out here. He checked her pod for supplies, but found only burnt components. He returned to her side and gently lifted her into his arms. She stiffened in shock. Her markings flared in a brief bright flicker. He paused again, reading her emotions. When she did not resist further, he carried her through the ravine toward a narrow cave entrance hidden behind an outcrop. The cave was shallow, but shielded from wind. He set her down carefully on a flat rock and knelt to open his kit. He lit a small portable heater and placed it near her. Warmth spread into the air. The girl exhaled in relief as her shivering eased. The human brought out water first. She gulped it faster than she meant to. He pulled it back only to prevent her from choking, then handed it once more when she regained her breath. Next, he brought out a nutrient bar and broke it into small pieces. She hesitated, sniffed it, then ate. Her tired eyes watched him as he set up a soft illumination device that bathed the cave in steady light. She finally found her voice and asked why he had helped her. Her words were weak but clear. He answered with honesty. He had seen the crash from his outpost on the ridge. His camp was temporary, set up while he surveyed mineral deposits in the region. He had rushed here as soon as he confirmed the crash site. He had no guarantee that whoever survived would be friendly. He had come because he hoped someone was alive and needed help. She stared at him as though she could not believe the simplicity of that answer. In her world, alliances were built on strategy, hierarchy, and obligation. Her people seldom rendered aid to anyone beyond their group unless a treaty required it. She had never imagined a stranger from a distant race would risk danger just to save her. As night settled fully, the air grew colder. She huddled near the heater while the human adjusted its output. He sat across from her, giving her space, though he watched her condition with steady concern. Hours passed. She drifted in and out of rest. At one point, she woke to him checking her pulse. She recognized the gentle worry in his gaze. She relaxed more easily each time she opened her eyes. Later, she woke again to a harsh sound outside. The human stood instantly and shielded the cave entrance. He lifted a compact tool that hummed with low power. A scavenger beast prowled near the rocks. The creature sniffed the air, drawn by the smell of the nutrient bar. The human strode forward without hesitation. He threw a flare that burst in bright blue light. The creature snarled and retreated, intimidated. The human remained alert until it vanished into the dark. Then he returned and checked her again, as though she were the one protecting him rather than the reverse. She whispered a question. Why risk fighting a creature for her sake? He shrugged lightly. Because she was injured. Because she needed protection. Because she was his responsibility the moment he found her. Those words weighed on her. In her culture, responsibility toward another was sacred. Yet he bore it without ceremony, without promise, without expectation. She watched him prepare a thin blanket and offer it to her. He avoided touching her skin unless necessary. He seemed aware of her vulnerability. She accepted the blanket with trembling hands. She whispered her name. He repeated it warmly. She sensed no mockery in his tone. She then asked for his name. He gave it, a simple human name. She tested it and found it gentle to speak. The heater hummed softly. She drifted into deeper sleep. When dawn approached, pale light filtered into the cave. The human had not slept. He had kept watch the entire night. She felt it the moment she opened her eyes. Her breathing steadied. Her strength returned enough for her to stand with support. He walked her outside, steadying her injured leg. She marveled at the landscape that she had barely seen yesterday. The rocky cliffs glowed under the rising sun. The air tasted clean. He explained that his camp was not far. He would take her there for better medical care and communications. From his outpost, he could signal her people or call for human rescue ships that patrolled near the sector. She absorbed his words slowly. Her people had always cautioned against trusting unknown species. They valued caution above curiosity. But this human had shown her a new truth, one built not on fear, but on compassion. He crafted a splint for her leg using pieces of her broken pod. He secured it with bands from his pack. She winced but endured it. His hands were steady, his patience endless. As they walked together along the narrow path, she asked him what he had been doing on such a desolate moon. He explained that he was part of a civilian survey crew sent to chart mineral sites for potential trade. His work often brought him to quiet places. He enjoyed the solitude, but never expected to find anyone here. She listened closely, fascinated by the quiet confidence in his voice. He spoke as though every task, no matter how mundane, held meaning. She wondered if all humans were like him, or if he was unique. When they reached his outpost, a small structure made of foldable panels, she was surprised by how organized it was. He guided her inside and helped her settle on a padded bench. He scanned her again with a more advanced device. The readings stabilized. Her bioelectric reserves rose to safe levels. Her ankle still required days to heal, but she was no longer in danger. He prepared a warm drink for her. She took it with gratitude. The taste was simple, but comforting. She watched him operate the communication terminal. He sent a signal across several channels. He identified himself, reported the rescued survivor, and requested pickup for both of them. Hours passed. They spoke quietly. She found herself sharing details about her home world. She told him about the glowing forests, the floating rivers, the way her people learned to harness energy from the living environment. She expected him to react with disbelief, but he listened with excitement. His eyes lit up at each new detail. He, in turn, told her about life on Earth, its oceans, its storms, its crowded cities, its varied cultures. She felt a warmth in her chest as he described humanity's determination to survive despite countless obstacles. She began to understand why her commanders had considered humans unpredictable. There,